We have never seen this before. The 2024 postseason just keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder, and Shohei Ohtani added to that. So we'll break that down and much more in this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, and today we're going to be breaking down Game 3 between the Dodgers and the New York Mets yesterday. I was wrong. I'll be the first one to admit that. I thought yesterday would be a win for the New York Mets because they theoretically had the advantage pitching-wise with Luis Severino coming up against Walker Buehler, and I thought that was a game that they needed to have, whereas the sense of urgency may not have been that high for the Los Angeles Dodgers, but I'm wrong, and I'm going to admit it. But before we get into the video, I want to let you know that a large percentage of you watching these are not subscribed to the channel. So go ahead and hit that sub button because we're very close to my goal of 1,500 subscribers, and it would mean the world to me if you could help get me there. But let's get straight into the video right now. Let's take a look. The first thing I want to highlight here before we get to Shohei Ohtani and the ridiculousness that he's been causing over here, Kike Hernandez has a .345 batting average with 10 homers, 21 RBIs, 20 runs scored in 40 games in the postseason since 2019. He's got an OPS over 1 in this run, and if it wasn't for the injury to Miguel Rojas, he would not be in the lineup playing center field every day. So he has been an absolute godsend. He hit that game-winning home run against the San Diego Padres in the clincher in Game 5. They obviously won 2-0 in that one, but he hit the home run to put them up 1-0, and the Padres ended up not scoring for the rest of that ball game. So he had the big hit in that one. He had a big hit yesterday, which pretty much sealed the deal for the LA Dodgers. They were up 2-0. They had some breathing room, but not too much breathing room because Walker Buehler was flirting with trouble. And what does Kike do? A 2-run home run again. So he's coming up in big spots, and he is delivering for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I don't know how he's doing it. After another disappointing regular season for him, he just finds a way to get it done in the playoffs, and it's very impressive. So shout out to Kike. He's been one of the most important pieces on the Dodgers in their entire run so far, and it's looking like it's going to keep on going after another win yesterday against the New York Mets. And this is a stat that I wanted to highlight here with Shohei Ohtani. He is now 7 for 9 with 2 home runs and 8 RBIs with men on base this postseason, and 0 for 22 with bases empty. So he's, I guess you could call him Mr. High Leverage here because he struggles immensely when there is no one on base, when the pressure isn't on him, but he thrives when the pressure is on him. Very weird. I think this is just a coincidence. I wouldn't read too much into it, but the numbers don't lie here. 7 for 9. Batting almost 800 with runners on base, not even in scoring position, and then 0 for 22 with the bases empty. Is that what you want out of your leadoff hitter? I don't necessarily know, but I wouldn't change anything because the Dodgers are playing good ball and they're looking good right now. They're looking like they're on their way to the World Series, so I would not switch up a thing if I were Dave Roberts here. So. More power to Shohei. I guess he's just stepping up when the time calls for it. And yesterday, a mammoth 3-run home run into the second deck. It was really impressive. Shout out to him. Basically said, all right, Met fans, you can go home now. This game is over. Let's wrap this sucker up. But that was big time hit by Shohei Ohtani. And I'm not surprised. Guy just hits absolute nukes. Walker Buehler is another player that I wanted to highlight from yesterday. He looked like a totally different pitcher in last night's game as opposed to Game 3 against the San Diego Padres, where he had 0 strikeouts in 5 innings pitched and only 8 whiffs. Whereas yesterday, in his first 2 innings pitched, he had 4 strikeouts and 11 whiffs. He just got out of a bases-loaded 1-out jam, allowing 0 runs. So he did great yesterday. He gave Dave Roberts a little bit of length. Roberts, I found it very interesting when he went on with Ken Rosenthal, and he said, well, we want to get one more inning out of Walker, and then we want to turn it over to the bullpen once the 5th inning rolls around or once the top of the lineup comes up. So I found that transparency appreciate it. I appreciated that transparency from Dave Roberts in that instance there. But yeah, great performance out of Walker Buehler after a tough season. Hasn't been the same pitcher since coming back from another Tommy John surgery, but hey, he looked great last night, and he was a big reason why the New York Mets were held off the score sheet. Like, they had traffic all night long. They really did, and they just could not capitalize because Walker Buehler was executing great pitch after great pitch. And another interesting stat, it's the episode of interesting stats here. Walker Buehler of the Dodgers is the first pitcher in MLB history to throw 90-plus pitches in a postseason start of 4 innings or less, but not give up a run. So, Opta Stats. I love this page, by the way. If you haven't checked out Opta Stats, go ahead and do that because they find the most obscure statistics and they bring them to light. And I love using them in my videos because it adds a different little wrinkle to what I'm talking about here. But I was critical of the Dodgers yesterday. I thought that the Mets had all the momentum after a great performance in Game 2, and I stand corrected. Walker Buehler, great performance. The offense showed up when they needed to for Los Angeles, and the Mets were just stymied by a great performance out of Walker Buehler, by another shutdown masterclass performance from the Dodgers bullpen. Michael Kopech, Blake Trinan, whoever you want to pinpoint in that unit there, they have been off the wall good ever since the postseason has started, and they're going to be a big reason why they are playing deep into October and maybe even to November. It's not over yet. It's still a 7-game series. You have 2 more games to win if you're the Dodgers and 3 more games to win if you're the New York Mets. But having that shutdown bullpen that you could turn to as soon as the 5th inning and not miss a beat from your starter who was great, I think that is a huge luxury to have. And I was critical not of the bullpen unit, but just of the amount of length that the Dodgers would be able to get from their starting pitchers. But it hasn't seemed to matter. It hasn't seemed to matter whatsoever because they can get 4 or 5 innings out of their guys and then turn it over to a dominant bullpen, which has been arguably one of the best units in baseball since the trade deadline, since acquiring Michael Kopech from the Chicago White Sox. But that'll wrap it up for this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Thanks, guys, for making it this far. Really appreciate the support. Hope you all enjoy the playoffs, and hopefully we see a great World Series, and hopefully we see some more competitive ball games, because the ones that we've seen thus far between the Yankees, Guardians, and the Mets, Dodgers haven't really been wire to wire. And with my team being out of the race, the Toronto Blue Jays, I want to see some close ball games. I want to see some fireworks, and we haven't really seen that as of yet in the championship series. But that'll wrap it up. Thanks, guys, and thank you to Baseball Town as well for sponsoring this video. Check them out. They're your one-stop shop for everything that you need baseball or softball related, whether it's cleats, gloves, batting gloves, bats. They got you covered. The best equipment at the most competitive prices, and I will see you all tomorrow.